we will head back into the draft for our second game of the day. If you missed the first game of the day, you have missed an absolute banger. So we get ourselves into this one. Once again, Lien subbing in for Aki on NIP. Does seem, we'll see whether this is a long-term change, but it is at least for now. After Lien served out his 2-match suspension for things. You can go look that one up. He's a big Nidalee player that's been taken away from them, and Shanji's going to have his Renekton removed at the same time. LGD, they're not going to get that LeBlanc for Haichao. Stuff like the Ashe is available, the Rumble is available. What else is important? Of course, that Tristana now as well, banned away from Haichao. As we see what other priority picks come through. Jace was also banned away from Birdle, worth noting as well in that first draft. Braum taken away from that Ashe-Braum combo. Does mean that Leona is a lot more playable. With the Braum gone, do we also see an Ashe or a Leona ban? The Ashe-Braum tends to be the combo, but Ashe is still strong on its own. The Leona really hates playing as the Ashe-Braum specifically. With the Braum gone, the Leona goes up in value as well. Ezreal also an important pick. Lucian also an important pick too. With the Tristana already gone, you could actually see 3 mid lane bans coming through from NIP. Instead, it's that Lilia taken away from Meteor. Leon won that first game with it. Has been such an important pick. Rumble let through the draft. Leona as well. Highlighted all of these picks already. Do you really want to give Shanji that Rumble again? Do you want to give it? They will give him the opportunity to go towards that. Again, Birdle might just take that K'Sante back into the matchup. Again, but it's a conversation we had in that game 1. There are champions you ban because they are strong, and then there are champions you ban because the enemy team is good at them. Rumble is no longer a champion you ban because it's overwhelmingly strong, but you should probably ban it against Shanji because he's so effective at that pick, and it will be locked in first rotation for NIP. Ezreal alongside it, so that goes in for Photic, another pick which he's done better at. His center was better last game than a lot of his recent games. We've had criticism for Photic on more traditional AD carries and stuff, which he has to position at closer range for. The Ezreal, Shaya have some fantastic moments and some terrible moments. Some great individual plays, but also in the team fights he was caught out a lot. If he doesn't even have that Ezreal to reposition, what's Shaya going to go towards? That pick might have hovered over, or at least covered over, rather, some of his deficiencies in terms of his positioning. Gonna get ourselves now into the second round for LGD, and the Shyvana makes its way through. So Shyvana K'Sante, very different now from the Taliyah that Meteor was playing in that previous game. Shyvana, if you are ever isolated, will jump on you and shred you apart. What we've seen in the jungle is typically going towards Spear of Shojin, and then the Liandry's after that point. You stack percent damage up, and you get yourself a huge amount of cooldown reduction, huge amount of HP as well, which can make you very, very powerful at just jumping in an enemy champion. You're not great at jumping in 1v3, 1v4, but if someone is isolated, Shyvana is one of the finest duelists in the game right now, to the point where Shanji on the Rumble will lose a 1v1 versus Shyvana in that jungle top lane matchup, so he needs to be very careful about his side lane play. LGD did end up outplaying that a lot of the time. Rookie not going towards the Lucian, interesting. Going towards, well, we presume it to be the Zeri. I don't think we've had any mid lane Ezreal on the patch so far. There's an IP lock-in, 2 AD carries, and they now need to find themselves a big part of their combo. They need to find themselves CC from jungle and support, and something that can be a real engage factor that can allow these big damage carries to form. Second round of bans, AD carry is going to be focused away from Xiaoya. This is a little bit of a worry for LGD. Xiaoya didn't have the... Okay, had some great moments in that first game, but on the whole, he was also caught out of position. He was on a champion, which hides some of that positioning errors as well. What happens now? You don't have something like that Ezreal. That's going to be gone. And Joe, welcome back. We're deep into the draft. We have a Shyvana. We have some big carries, and for some reason, Shanji has Rumble again. Wonder how that happened.
Why isn't Shanji on the Shyvana? That's what I wanted. Yeah, well, hey guys, sorry I'm late.
It's okay, it's fine.
You know, we only have one loo in the house. It's our upstairs bathroom, and that is the room that is being decorated, so I had to clear out the decorators to be able to go to the loo between the games, and made a coffee. I'm on my 3rd coffee of the day already. I don't know what is wrong with me today, but I am... I'm basically 80% caffeine at this point.
Oh, God. I feel like you kind of need it at this kind of game.
Zeri IRL.
You do kind of... Sparks ready, goes to the toilet. Anyway, going into the second round of the draft. NIP, they do get themselves towards the flex pick of the Maokai between jungle and support. We'll see what Shaya and Jinja go towards. I think actually by banning away the MF, I think Joao could just go towards this Maokai in that support role, and I think that would be fine. You've got the Kai'Sa Leona, it's fine in laning phase, but now you have this flex pick between jungle and support. Lien and Joao do have options here.
I wonder what we're going to see. I will say the Rumble can be placed to jungle as well, but I don't really expect that to happen. Especially after Shanji's first game. Sorry, I'm eating a bit of cake. I know it's terrible form, but
it's completely fine, buddy. Look, folks,
it's not an official stream, and I'm really taking that to heart.
Yeah, we're celebrating the fact that we have made it through this entire year of LPL, of the non-broadcast games. Today will be the last day of non-broadcast games, and the first game was so incredibly entertaining that we started to let our hair down a little bit and loosen the tie and get real into the mire as well. I love the fact that high chair goes towards that Yone. I think he's a big player of that. It allows him to play around sidelines heavily, which he was doing very well in that first game as well. I think Shyvana is very, very good at running down individual carries as well. I think there is a big onus on Shanji in particular, but also potentially Lien as well, to not get caught out of position. Because if you do have Shyvana jumping at you while you are on a side lane alone, walking over vision with no one supporting you, this Shyvana will shred you. You get towards that Shojin, you get towards that Liandry's, and you're just not a champion anymore. You just end up getting blown apart by Shyvana, who's one of the strongest duelists on the patch. So Meteor, potential for him to have a much better game than he did in that first game. The Taliyah was fine. The Shyvana could be game-changing.
Feels like LGD, it's full dive buddies, right? The whole gang can go in together and just absolutely one-shot someone. NIP gonna try and play opposite with this Maokai for disengage and the rest of the team. Like, they've got kind of a long-range execution kind of composition, right? With the Maokai routes into Equalizer, into True Shot Mirage, with the Karthus coming down on top. I don't know if they're going to be able to survive the sheer damage that's going to come out up front from LGD.
Yeah, that's the thing. Can you get to the point where that combo is very powerful? You know what? This composition for NIP reminds me a lot of the OMG combos back in the day. Can they get themselves that big combo again? Can they get themselves that 2-0 and seal themselves out their first series victory?
It's kind of funny, really, that you equate this composition to that previous version of OMG.
Just when they got rid of
when
Aki.
They're up against... Aki's not playing this game. They're up against Shanji, and there's a Shyvana in the game. It's just not quite in the right hands to be that old OMG of Shanji.
I love that we're going towards this combo-based gameplay, though. I love a good, weird wombo combo. I like my Yasuo Dianas and the stuff that we've seen more over time, but stuff like, like Karthus Rumble with like the hellfire from the gods. Every time these kind of combos come in, we kind of make jokes about the Mac cannons from Halo as well. We go down that kind of route. I just love how dramatic it is when suddenly you think a trade's over, then just a million extra damage comes in. Starting at the level 1, NIP with another level 1 plan. They did this in the last game, invading into the Raptor side of the enemy jungle. And they do find Ginger, a bit of damage on there. That'll be the end of it. It looks like it's a red buff steal instead of the Raptors.
Just swallowed my last bit of cookie there. As Meteor going to go opposite and trade for the Raptors here. And this could be a full quadrant trade. This could actually be vertical jungling here. As Meteor gets to start on that top side. And both have full information that this is happening. It really wouldn't surprise me at all to see Meteor try and go for that top quadrant. Especially before Shanji's really been able to take control of that top lane. Because later on, Birdall is never going to have control of that top lane. So at level 1 is kind of your one time where you ever really get to invade the top side.
I'm really surprised that NIP elected to do this. You have that Rumble. You saw what Shanji did in the last game. He has to do like a 5,000 individual gold lead towards the end of it. And yeah, it's an easy enough invade. You get towards those Raptors full camp clear, and they are looking for a dive. Well, if they get the dive, then it doesn't particularly matter. You still get that all the same. The wave's not crashing in. This isn't actually a crashed wave right now. And now they're going to have to wait a little longer because there's a cannon wave coming in. So they don't get anything there. They don't get themselves a dive. It's going to be, just full vertical jungling, full quadrant clear on either side as Meteor just finishes up the Krugs on NIP's side of the map. And for some reason, we have NIP electing to put their Rumble on weak side.
Yeah, bit of an odd one. But it might not continue. Perhaps Lien will play up towards his top side on the second spawn of the camps. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, full quadrant clear. No dive comes through from NIP. And to be honest, I think that's okay. I'm not sure how well Maokai Ezreal Karthus dives really at level 2.
True.
Against the Leona. That doesn't sound that great to me on paper. But massive, massive wave crash. and you can expect Photic will be able to get some good harass down onto Jin Zhao and Xiaoya while they try and get this way.
I mean, there is some logic to say, on a nameplate value, regardless of draft, yeah, Xiaoya and Jin Zhao have struggled a lot, and Xiaoya had a better last game, and even then, he had some pretty high-tier late-game mistakes too. If you put them under more pressure and you make sure that Xiaoya doesn't have the resources he had last game, is playing on weak side, then yeah, I can understand maybe playing around that. NIP, they've typically had stronger early games than LGD, it's worth mentioning that too. They've got more value out of them, but they haven't been able to hold on to those leads particularly well. We saw that in that first game, very much on show, and once again, Lian heading towards this bot side. There's no camps down here. There's no camps for him to take anywhere, actually, so he's kind of an unknown quantity across the map, and he's just here to, I guess, protect the push coming in. You do have Meteor coming towards bot side now. Zenith played in.
Oh, they've engaged just as Lian was finishing his recall, but he did not finish it and predicts the flash with his Skittle, his first blood for Photic.
Jin Zhao tastes the rainbow in the worst possible way, and the color he ends up with his sepia goes into the death screen. Fantastic play from Lian to get himself that flash predict and that first kill. We did say, LGD, their typically worst performing members have been Xiaoya and Jin Zhao, putting them under pressure early on a nameplate value, regardless of the fact that you have a Rumble on the top side, which might use the resources better in a draft sense, is still valuable. Going back towards the replay of this now, Lian, there's no camps from up on the map, and there's no vision into the enemy jungle. Yeah, Meteor's coming down towards this bot side, but he's not going to be there within the duration of this trade, and Lian could be anywhere, and just so happened he was at the worst possible spot. And he gets the flash predict as well. Jin Zhao, ankles broken, health bar depleted.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know how good of a trade that would have been from Xiaomi and Jin Zhao.
Yeah, I don't think
without
it was good anyway.
Lian there. I'm pretty sure it's still just a losing 2v2 at this point, so kind of an awkward engage from Jin Zhao. It costs him his life, and it sets up for Photic's first recall to be a Sheen and a Tier. I mean, that is pretty much worst case scenario against an Ezreal.
Yeah, back in previous seasons of the League of Legends very early on, hang on Photic's court, he still has that cleanse and he just ease out anyway. Jin Zhao's really not having a great time in this lane. He's not really getting the value out of this. But yeah, back in earlier seasons of League, a lot of how early lanes and lanes in general against Ezreal would go would be about what items you back on first. Where it used to be, oh, it's Sheen to BF Sword, but the BF Sword's better than the Sheen, but the Sheen was cheaper. So if you could force people to recall before they had BF Sword Gold and get onto Pickaxe, then the Ezreal would win. It's changed a lot over time, but the importance of the first back for Ezreal hasn't. Getting that tier, getting that Sheen, it unlocks him in a huge, huge way. So now you have that Sheen in the tier, and there's, the Rectrix on the other side. It's not a bad first item. It's not what you want, though. 2v2, cleanse forced out.
Photic might just go down here. Flash from Xiaoya. His W's on cooldown for another 17 seconds, and he can't get close enough. Barrier, just a complete waste. Expected the Mystic Shot to hit. That's both summoners burnt from Photic, but it's both from Xiaoya to make it happen.
Yeah, so we were just praising early laning phase from NIP and getting that first back in, and they immediately take a really bad trade. Bertel trading okay in this top side. That matchup's not fallen out of proportion right now. One thing I will say about this top lane matchup, after the nerfs, it has become more manageable than it was, obviously, and now Bertel's coming down first. Rookie's here, though.
Lian just getting absolutely shredded by Meteor, but Rookie is going to go for the Lightning Crash and hunt for some damage. Haichao kind of whiffs it, and Lian doesn't even go down, and Meteor will be next on the chopping block as Shanji forces a flash out. Equalizer already used. Bertel! He Q3'd before the flash, and he doesn't find the knockback. Now he's in a 1v2, but Jin Zhao arrives to set up some CC, but Bertel can't really follow up on it, and Lian rejoins the fray. This is going on a lot longer than I think anyone expected, as Jin Zhao technically solo kills Lian.
Jin Zhao making up for the earlier plays. Meteor is the only person with the smite. He will get this now. He gets it with a Flame Breath nonetheless as well. So now he has the smite for the last one. How the hell did LGD walk away?
He gets 3.
With 3 grubs from those series.
Clean grub play here from LGD. Okay. Perfectly planned, perfectly executed.
Haichao is going
Lian. No fate sealed available, but that is just a great chunk.
Man, just revisiting, part of what we said in post, Meteor has 6. Hang on, this is a problem. Lian doesn't have flash, he's going to get run down!
Oh, Haichao sets it up beautifully for Meteor to knock it out of the park. Red buff will be the next thing to go, and NIP, that's 2 plays back to back. The LGD kind of just bodied them.
I'm getting to the point where I'm laughing too much. It's starting to make me cough again. Jesus. Rookie, on his first ever professional game of the Zeri, to my knowledge, gets himself into the play nice and early. First Zeri out of the game does a lot more damage than you would have thought. And, the ultimate, it would have been a goal in football. Not in League of Legends. Completely puts himself at the whims of NIP's jungle and mid laner. It gets really weird after this point, though, as it's getting weird again now. Photic caught out.
Photic. Oh, Photic. Oh, Photic. You just can't, can you? You just can't.
I don't
Not on
really,
this team.
I don't really,
you can't do this to Rookie.
folks, I don't think Rookie's making it to Worlds. I'm putting it out this way. It has been a fiesta. Jinzhao does have his flash, not forced to blow it. Look, last game was incredibly entertaining because it was high stress and it was tense. It was back and forth. This game is entertaining because I don't have a clue what's happening right now. And sometimes I need that. I just need that brain off moment as these plays happen. We've got 9 minutes into the game. 6 kills. This is the LPL that we love. Right. What does all this mean for everyone? Top lane matchup is okay, considering that it's the K'Sante into the Rumble. The Rumble doesn't exacerbate that lead as heavily as he did before. K'Sante can actually stay even-ish if you're at this state right now, so we'll see whether Birdall can keep that in kind of contention. Jungle is weird. We're getting to the point where Meteor's going to have himself Shojin. Once he gets towards Shojin and then the Leandries, Meteor will 1v1 anyone on the map. Legitimately. If you step out of position, Meteor will run you down. NIP needs to be very careful of that, and they weren't great at playing around isolated picks in the last game, so I've got my eyes on that jungle matchup. But then also, while all this is coming through as well, we have just so many mobile carries on the bot side of the map. If you misstep in general, someone is going to get jumped on, and that could lead to huge objectives, it can lead to huge gold swings, which means we might be set up for another fiesta, Joe.
I'm going to be honest, that's why I'm here. That is precisely what I have subscribed for. Shanji underneath the tower here. Oh, Meteor goes wide on the pushback, but Birdall is just going to do it all by himself. He doesn't even need Meteor there. Oh, he wished Meteor was there, though. Even Shanji gets a kill, and now Xiaoya chunked us. Lien searching in the bottom side. Xiaoya dodges the route. Jinzhao does not and goes back in. Xiaoya trying to turn it around onto Zhuo. Jinzhao just sacrifices his life to make the play happen.
So, 1 for 1 in top side. Kill goes to Birdall, which does get him to the Kanik Rooken. That is an important point in the matchup. You would have liked to not die for it, though. Photic looking for something into Xiaoya. Misses the W.
Xiaoya, you shouldn't be here, buddy. You should just not be here. Zhuo happy to tank. Uses the killer instinct. Zhuo dodges the tower aggro with a twisted advance. Very nicely done by the NIP support.
I think Xiaoya could have got a kill if he stayed in auto. Trade 1 for 1, get the passive onto him. Zhuo gets out, had the flash. Maybe could have outplayed anyway. High chest out again. We said we were calling this maybe a chance for Fiesta with the amount of mobility. Lien stopped at his recall. Haichao on the flank.
The smite from Meteor denies the recall. Photic just about gets away, but Haichao. Actually, the flash might be enough. No, it's not. That's a Yone. Never mind.
We're in 11 minutes and we have 12 kills. We've officially crested the kill per minute margin, which is one of those great metrics we like to reach here. What this means is the gold is now very, very, very spiked. We have an 11-minute Triforce for Photic. We have a Shojin at 11 minutes for Meteor as well. And we have talked about how important a duelist Shyvana is. It's not the same kind of carries that we've seen in terms of the mage-style gameplay from Karthus, Zyra, Brand. This is a diving brawler, almost an assassin in some ways too when you get onto the right targets. And Meteor doesn't even have the Dragon's Descent here, but he smites to stop that recall. Lien caught out of position. Even if he started walking backwards, Haichao was in a good enough roam. We are well and truly into the Mongolian mud wrestling again. With the Grubs have spawned again. Meteor does have ult this time, does have Shojin. Lien doesn't have ult. I think in LGD, I think they feel they can take this.
Oh, it feels so scary for Karthus, doesn't it? Lien is trying to stick to these grubs. There's the solar flare. There's the follow-up onto him. Lien does survive, though, and gets a kill onto Jinzhao. And in the meantime, Meteor forced away. Rookie over with a lightning crash. And Xiaoya sent away. Birdall managed to get a 4th grub while all that was going on.
Right, and then also, they could go towards this again. Birdall does have flash at all. Lien's really low HP. You could even trade 1 for 1 if you wanted to do that, which is why Rookie is earning him out on the top side. I think Rookie is fearful for his new old jungler's life. Meteor's going to go back towards farming. Meteor, I don't think he had the best ult in that last play. Kind of feel like he just kind of punted himself into no man's land. Could have gone straight onto Lien. Doesn't manage to get that kill there. But NIP, they stopped the Grobageddon coming through. Meteor, hang on, that's going to be it all in.
Oh, Photic's been caught. This is why you pick Kai'Sa into Ezreal. That exact interaction. Once you got an item, it's a freebie.
I'm out of words already. We're 30 minutes in, 14 kills, 13 minutes. We'll keep that one on the tracker. Xiaoya, halfway through the draft, coming around to the second round of bans, I was questioning, okay, you don't have the Ezreal. That's something that kind of covers over poor positioning and already was exposed. On the Kai'Sa, not the best early game. Gets himself 2 kills, though, all the same. And if he has himself this Kai'Sa to reposition immediately, maybe this could be a strong performance from him again, where he can look for those late-game assassinations. Rookie on the other side, I do believe this is his first Seri game ever on one of those other reposition AD carries that can get a huge amount of value. I want to see if Rookie can have himself one of those, again, great team-fighting games that we know he can do. We can kind of pull the game by the scruff of its neck into NIP's advantage. I don't know who to favor in this game at this point. It is very even. NIP do have themselves a slight lead in this early game, which is less than they had the last game, which might be a bit of a problem because LGD managed to fight themselves back from that deficit before.
Haichao hunting on the top side for Rookie. Rookie trying to set it up. His Dwarf Photic move in, but I think Haichao knew something was going on there. And he's on the Yone, so he's basically impossible to get. Do you know, I already hated Yasuo. Man, Yone, I think I hate Yone more than I hate Yuumi. Like, unironically, is this champion not just awful? I think I hate him more than I hate K'Sante. He's so hard to punish. He gets so much damage for free. He gets so much movement speed for free. I don't know. I just think he's obnoxious.
I think the thing with Yasuo is that sometimes he needs a stunt double, which helps him set up the big plays. He doesn't do everything himself.
Yeah, and it's like a high skill cap champion, you know? You have to be good.
Yeah, whereas Yone is his own stuntman. He does everything. This guy is like the Tom Cruise of mid lane, and I don't know whether that's a positive thing in this connotation, because he just does everything, and he gets that blade power spike, and much like the Aurelia, you hit like Vamp Scepter or Blade, and suddenly you're full build and you can kill everyone. Yeah, this champion has been an issue for a very long time. One of the reasons we haven't seen him for a long time is because AP junglers haven't been good. Meteor puts the Herald down in mid lane. Maokai ult. Meteor has himself the ults.
Jin Chao's going to go down again. At least stuns Rookie before he drops, but I'm not really sure that's quite enough of a trade. Herald comes in, but it's not enough to finish the tower off. And Rookie will finish the Herald, so not quite enough from LGD to finish the tower there. It's just a pick ultimately for NIP.
Right. Again, let's try and add some. Let's try and.
I've got to say, some of these plays are lots. They're kind of anticlimactic after how the first game went. Like plays like this are just like, sorry.
I will say, once we hit 2-3 items, I think we'll start ratcheting it up again. That's what I think things really start hitting the fan again. I'm trying to think where the structure comes into this game. We have Yone in a side lane with Blade. That's one thing, which is a power point to play around. And the problem when you have teams like this is that you can tell them that they have power points and they should be playing around XYZ parts of the game. Sometimes they just want to fight anyway away from those strengths. LGD have the 4 grubs, they have the Yone in the side lane. That's very, very powerful for them. They have the Shyvana, they can pick off isolated targets. NIP, I think they're the ones which want to force the grouped up fights again. That's what they worked out well in game 1. I think that when you have the Triforce Muramana coming through from Photic, and when you have the Shiv and potentially something like that Hurricane as well from Rookie, the AoE damage from NIP is going to be absurd, and they have the Maokai ult to set up for that. So I think group fights need to be played out well by NIP. That's what they're angling towards. Whereas LGD, I think if they can get themselves a bit of vision control to spot off people isolated, it's probably what they want to play around, particularly with the Yone and the Shyvana doing their dirty business.
I just want to acknowledge a sentiment in the chat right now. That, I sort of, you know, I agree to an extent, and I see where you're coming from, and that's that Leon is not good for the KDA because all she can do is go in. You can't get back out again. Now, there's an important part of that conversation that's being sort of missed in this, and that's the fact that you can choose whether or not to go in. Like, being 1 and 5 at 16 minutes is not just like, oh, Leona, you know, she's always 1 and 5 at 16 minutes. No. You can just not go in. Like, Mako is not usually 1 and 5 at 16 minutes. There's a reason for that.
There's half of this which I like to call losing support syndrome, where you lose the players and the support is, oh my god, Rookie's having to force, that's Yone in a side lane, that's what they want to play towards, pulling up the teleports, here we go.
Oh, Shanji flashes away. The equalizer is pretty good, but he's in a 1v4. Trisha Barrage comes on in. That's some good damage. And Requiem is available for Lien. Jin Zhao will definitely fall. Can it be more? Lien, where is it? There it is. Singing to the stars.
The Loki shield.
And the Aegis comes in.
That is why we build Locket versus Karthus. The Warbox meta is said. The Warbox nerves mean that supports itemize effectively again. Lien pulls out the ultimate. It's not enough. And LGD, they're playing isolated on the side lane. They get themselves that kill after the teleports come ringing through. And, you know, I feel like, I'm going to bring this back up. First game, largely LGD were winning when people were moving across the map. If everyone was there in a 5v5 at the start of it, I think NIP win. It starts with a split fight. A great play from Haichao to get a huge amount out of Rookie. And Haichao has still got his ultimate at this point. He does manage to get the flash out of Shanji. It's a bit of a tight timing, can't quite get him at the end of that. And then, of course, Shyvana comes to play as well. So it's a very easy kill onto Shanji, who doesn't have the best entrance into this. And folks, this is literally just a Locket diff. Build Locket versus Karthus. It will save your life.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jinjiao gained HP from that ultimate there, as Shanji has just been found. And I will say, as much as I personally hate Yone, Haichao is having a great game on this pick right now.
And Haichao's had some... Hang on a second. Rookie trying to get himself that dip over the wall. Spectator really convinced something is going to happen. Not too convinced myself, as Birdall just skips away from that one. And yeah, you know, Haichao, great game on the Yone. He had some great games in group stage with this. Struggled to show that in the Rumble stage so far, but now he gets himself towards the second item. He is really online. And on the other side, Shanji, he's not that far ahead. Birdall could potentially look for Shanji. Is anyone roaming towards this place? It's all V3 right now.
Oh, the CC comes out from Zhuo. It saves Lien's life. That was a huge all-out angle, but Birdall gets interrupted by Zhuo before he can find it. Lucky, honestly, for Lien that he's not got a fourth death right now.
Yeah, you can say that one again. So now the problem is, NIP, they have a Rumble who's weaker than they should be. You know, remember this time last game, we were cresting 3,000 gold lead or something like that. Ended up almost at 5,000. He's going to get killed again. Shanji, he's not in the lead. He's just getting isolated. LGD, they're looking for the isolated picks, and they're fighting them onto Shanji continually.
Shanji giveth, Shanji taketh. One game is a 4-1 kind of performance, one game is a 1-4 kind of performance. Shanji really struggling in this second one. This Rumble being punished pretty heavily. Meteor, he's hit those two items, and as such, can now 1v5 on the Shyvana.
Yeah, this Shyvana, this build is one of the strongest duelist builds in the entirety of the game right now. It's absolutely absurd. And now, also worth noting, Shyvana does actually have a passive, very easy to forget. You do 20% extra damage to dragons, and also per dragon you kill, get an extra 5 armor and magic resist. So I'll get a lot of HP through the the Dragon's Ascent. You get some bonus HP through that one, but also you get it from the Leandries and the Shojin. But then if you start stacking up dragons, you can become a lot tankier if you're ahead in the game than people would necessarily expect. But considering that you go towards heavy damage as well, you also get to have kind of this jack of all trades when you're ahead.
There's also, you know, the Q from Shyvana reduces her cooldown slightly. I don't know if you've seen the Namori Flickerblade version of Shyvana, but it is obscene.
You know, funnily enough, Shyvana currently is the strongest champion in Arena because of interactions like that, because there are other items which are like Flicker Blade, so Shyvana just hits you for like 2,000 damage and then immediately has the cooldown back again. He has a flash. Lian does have a flash, but can he get out? I doubt it.
What's stronger, the God of Death or a dragon with a fidget spinner? It's the dragon every single time. Diving on in though, and Shanji's gone once again. He tried to show up to the fight, but he's not the one breathing out fire this time. It's Meteor. There's a bonus for LGD. They are looking like they might just win this one as a bit of a wash against an IP.
Rookie's still trying to chase down. Rookie, I think he's feeling it right now. There's a lot of low health bars. Rookie very strong on the Zeri, very strong. He might just go for it again.
Oh, he's looking for Birdall. Isolated target, but the all-out comes on through! And Birdall just takes him out of the picture. Xiaoya supporting his top laner.
I mean, it's like, I don't know, Tony Hawk's American Wasteland or something. He's like on the rail grinding over the wall. So he's just wiped out by somebody coming out to hit him. Birdall stops the trick short, and sadly, Rookie will look to try and freestyle again after this one. 2 items, sorry, you can see the angle. He should have tried to carry. He was almost in a position to carry that, but he just wipes out.
That wasn't Tony Hawk's. That was Skate 3, where you have to do the biggest, like, crash off of the top of something and break the most bones.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I don't know, man. Well, if top lane's a half pipe, sadly, they didn't find themselves the best score on that one. Shanji, buddy, he's been wiping out all day long well, not all day, all game long. First game, MVP, but this composition from LGD is leaning into the strengths of LGD from that first game. The first one's a good walled ride, gets away from the Zenith blade, and Rookie, you can see why he thinks he can run this down. He has his ult running. The ultimate 2-item spike from Zeri is really, really strong in terms of AoE damage. Problem is after this point that he kind of tries to use that a little too much and trap Baron started.
We don't get a replay of the KO at the end of the fight. We're just going to be 50-50ing Baron, aren't we? It's a good equalizer. The smite comes in though. Can LGD get away with their prize? Can they get away with this objective? Jin Zhao sacrifices himself as Shanji moves over the fire. Haichao ults defensively. They're trying to escape, and Lien doesn't want to let the wall of pain on 3 players. It's a big slow. The health bar's ticking down. Rookie with a lightning crash. They find 2, but 2 just isn't enough.
2 doesn't feel like it should have been that cost for LGD. There were so many players in the right position to do a lot of damage. I thought the wall of pain slow might also have ended up getting an extra kill for LGD. Doesn't quite end up being that case, so LGD walk away now with 3 Barons. They get themselves onto a point now where Yone, importantly, has that Baron. Xiaoya, also in the Kai'Sa, has that Baron, which means you're going to have this split map play where Shyvana can grow him into one of these isolated plays too and just start slaughtering people with the item spikes. How close does this get? Okay, alright, I don't know why exactly they were zooming into that one. It's not like Lien comes in with a smite. Meteor does come in with that one. And you can see that, you know, the Flame Breath slows down bits and pieces, but this Wall of Pain felt like it should end out everything. Yeah. But I think Birdle does a good job of just getting a couple of slows to the queue, gets himself a little bit further into that play. If Birdle doesn't play rearguard, I think maybe another person dies.
Lien's Wall of Pain there fundamentally got 3 flashes out from them. So, you know, if anyone didn't have flash, it would have guaranteed a kill. Alas, they all had flash. And just look at the scoreboard for LGD. Look down that scoreboard at how strong the players are getting. It's Photic with a lead. It's Shanji somehow with a gold lead in the top lane as well. But aside from that, it's looking pretty tough. And especially Haichao in that mid lane and Meteor in the jungle are so far ahead of their counterparts. It's devastating.
I also kind of like that Meteor's going towards the Seekers as well. You could go towards the Horizon Focus. One of the... Hang on, Photic forced to cleanse there. Should be fine after that point. But, you know, a lot of... And Shyvana's is going straight in. That's some artillery.
It certainly is. Meteor might have overstepped on this one. Seeker's Arm Guard keeps him alive. Does he get away from the equalizer, though? Rookie is cleaning it up. That's 2 for the side of NIP and maybe a throw from LGD. This is the exact same that we saw last game, just the other way around. Haichao dives into the mix. But in the meantime, Birdle has fallen. Xiaoya, I don't know why we're even looking at him right now, but it's a fight for NIP.
I mean, he has the ult. Maybe they thought he would dive in with the Kai'Sa with Flash Barrier and Ultimate, but he doesn't make that Killer Instinct play. Rookie is the one with the Killer Instincts in this one. He's been trying to find those Zeri kind of sit in the pocket, just out of your range, but inside his maximum range kind of play. He does manage to find it there. LGD, they're forgetting they need to find split targets. Not everyone on the same screen. They feel themselves a little too much, and now suddenly Meteor's used up that Seekers. It's not going to be that useful. NIP can get some gold back, and mate, we're in for another banger, I think. We're within 2,000 gold coming into 25, 26 minutes. We have multiple objectives taken across the board. NIP ahead in Dragons, but slightly behind in gold. I think we're ready for some big team fights again now. I thought it was going to be LGD all day in this game too, but it's now become a lot more even.
And I've got to say, Shanji, he may be 1-5, but he's on his rumble, and we know how good he is with those equalizers. Rookie is on a Zeri that's about to hit 3 items. Like, at the end of the day, NIP, regardless of what the early game looked like, they've got some characters that can just 1v9.
Yeah, so they use the Solar Flare, so that's not there for the big fight. Haichao uses E, so he pings back in the rank point. So Meteor goes in. Well, there's no Solar Flare, and also Haichao can't join the fight because he's pinned back to his soul. So you don't have that Yone to help in that choke point. The Equalizer's great, and then Rookie just sees, okay, well, you don't have that Yone. Right, that's fine. Birdle also comes in on a bad timing. The approach of the solo laners is just really poor timing. I don't think the solo laners called this fight, but they definitely didn't end up helping with the way they introduced it after that point.
Tough one there for Birdle. I think maybe expecting more from the Haichao over the wall, etc. Maybe expecting that to turn into a big 2-man play, but alas, it did not, and the Baron earns negative 2,000 gold for LGD. They are still ever so slightly ahead in gold, but it really isn't much for the 27-minute mark. And importantly, NIP, Soul Point now, with the next straight coming up in 3.5.
So, important things to know about some of these dragons. I know, you know, Chemtech is one of the dragons which has been more added, obviously the newest addition with Hextech as well. It gives you heal and shield power and tenacity when you come through into those basic dragons. The Soul, you can sometimes give or take it, but in games like this, which are very close, I think the Soul's very powerful. But also when you have stuff like Lockets on both supports who don't normally get heal and shield power items, that can give you an extra bonus. I think also the shield bow benefits from this too. And when you're against a Leona, typically Leona has come back into the meta because tenacity has been shredded from the game. If NIP get themselves Soul and they get themselves the second dragon as well, in terms of the Chemtech variety, I think they're going to be pretty happy with an extra 12% heal shield power, or 16% rather, and the tenacity as well. That could actually be quite a big game changer. So LGD, 3 minutes to organize the map, find some isolated picks, maybe go towards a Baron themselves, and try and stop NIP from playing around their grouped up fights where they're really starting to thrive, especially with the 3-item spikes and the carries.
Does feel like we're getting towards that point for NIP where these carries do just individually start popping off. And at the end of the day, like when we think back to how we mentioned this composition straight after the draft, like it is just a lot of really big, high damage set pieces, you know, where you've got the True Shot Barrage that can chunk a whole team. You've got Zeri that can pop off, obviously, but like the Equalizer and the Requiem used alongside the roots from Juan, like it all just ends up in one player getting annihilated. And I mean, if Haichao is that player, suddenly these fights look completely doomed for LGD.
I also think, even if it's Meteor, I think it's pretty doomed for them too. I think they actually need both of them to be doing optimal damage. I don't think it's enough for one of them at this point. The carries do too much. Wookie going to walk up towards Haichao, a bit dangerous there, takes a bit of damage. Fighting over the global red buff, that's the Solar Flare use, and it's now a grouped up fight.
True Shot Barrage comes on through, Requiem across the team as well. Meteor is chunked, but it's not quite enough to finish anybody off. I'd say a positive trade for NIP, but it doesn't really lead to much. No,
not really that much of a big win. Of course, the global red buff goes to NIP. That can be quite important post 20 minutes, particularly when you have multiple AD carries which are applying it across the team very effectively. Of course, with Zeri having the Rune's Hurricane, you're applying to 3 targets potentially too, and turns that red buff can be very, very powerful. So NIP getting that potentially could have helped them towards a Baron fight if it were to come to that, which is of course up and available, and we'll keep tracking whether that is as important as potentially we have thought it to be. Now, Dragon up in a minute, Baron up now. LGD might go to start this. They don't have themselves too much deep vision, but they have just enough to scout out the approach from NIP. They don't have themselves those big ults of Zeri and Karthus.
They've got some good damage on that Baron. Photic going to True Shot Barrage onto Xiaoyu here. Rookie caught out by Haichao. The Baron's just going to go down here for LGD. That's twice now that they find the objective for themselves. Shanji's moving over to try and be a part of the play, and NIP are stalling as long as they can to get that Equalizer in the mix. But LGD, they got the Baron, and they will get their recalls. And no, Equalizer?
Okay, no, so this is important. I was just trying to think through this. Now, NIP, because of that Equalizer, they delay the backs enough, so yeah, you're right. They delay that to the point where now Soul is going to go over to NIP, I think. You're going to have late resets coming through, so they're going to give over that Chemtech Soul, but we just talked about the value of base Chemtech Dragons, and then also that Soul. They are going to be slow on the recall. Haichao does have teleport, but he won't be able to back and spend his gold. If he gets himself enough gold to recall and then get an Infinity Edge for this next fight, then I think it's completely game on. Watch that back. He's teleporting in. He won't have Inf-Edge, but he will have himself a good angle. Bluebirds is picked up for NIP, and they will have themselves positioned in River first. Big objectives now up on the table. NIP, if they get Soul, it's a big win for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure that the play really worked out for them in the end. Without Equalizer up for this fight, it feels really hard. Haichao gets onto Lien as well, and just one bangs him at LAN. Meteor there to finish it off. Requiem will at least get Jin Zhao, but it's one kill in trade for the Drake, and now in goes Birdall to set up the fight, but he's gone way too deep. The rest of the team not on board for the players. Meteor is burning down as well. NIP have found a miracle off the back of the fight. Rookie skates his way to safety. How have LGD got the Drake but then lost the fight?
Rookie survives with the shield power. You know what? We talk about heal and shield power. That might have actually saved them with that too. Shia burned down by the Equalizer, so he can't go back into position to protect everything, and Midwave is not going to be a full kill, but NIP, they walk away with no Dragon, but a handful of kills, and what that means is that the Baron buff basically means nothing for LGD now. They get themselves that kill until the end, they don't get anything else, and suddenly, LGD, that Baron, which they fought very hard for, only gets them the Dragon. It denies the Soul, that's still important, but it's not the end of all things. Lien trying to stick around to try and burst down that Baron, gets hit by an AP Kaiser W, and then gets hit by Haichao after that point, so he just gets completely obliterated, no flash. Poor positioning from him around the objective. I mean, he's still going to be that Karthus putting out extra damage in his Soul form at this point. Sadly, Locket doesn't save poor Jin Zhao there.
Yeah, we're too late in the game for Locket to be the difference maker now against that Karthus ult. I will say, this composition, it's not easy for a Karthus to position in these fights when you have absolutely no frontline. Juo being your only frontline on the composition, and it's not like he's the tankiest tree in the world. I will say 1-0 and 12 so far for Juo. He's having a pretty good game on the Maokai. The ults have been decent. But now, again, Soul wasn't taken. Dwar has found Haichao and forced the flash out from him. That is equalizer used, not ideal for an IP.
And that is going to be a big tool down for Haichao. Haichao, a huge part of why LGD have been winning out in the side lane plays. I'm getting a bit worried for LGD now, because it feels like this is less about isolated picks, it's more about the big fights. And if there's anything we've talked about in this series, is that NIP are somehow winning the bigger fights as it stands. I think that it's helping now as well that Shanji has that Zhonya, so he can be a pseudo frontliner with the ability to jump forward with that flame spitter and just kind of put himself into stasis and get some good value out of that. I think that Shanji, despite him not being nearly as fed as that last game, is still Shanji's Rumble, and Shanji in team fights is a very different beast from Shanji from the rest of his game. Rookie jumping forwards, trying to hop over and get some good damage onto Haichao.
Yeah.
I think NIP are feeling good about the group fights, even if the LGD are still pushing in across the map.
And I have to say, I think it's worth us acknowledging the fact that LGD now, that is 3 neutral objectives in a row, 2 Barons and a Dragon that they've secured for themselves. Meteor actually blasts out the ultra setup for Haichao. What a combo! Photic might drop as well, does survive as the Requiem comes on through. Haichao chunked and Rookie trying to flank, but I mean, Meteor, just perfect setup, and Haichao there to finish the job.
Yeah, Leon had like 3 seconds left up on his flash. It was great timing from LGD to take that. It's just going to be a kill, but hey, you'll definitely take that kill, and that's going to fund, of course, Haichao going towards even more. He has himself those 4 items.
They were sending a message, you know. They may not get an objective out of that, but they're just reminding Leon that he can never step up. You step up, you're dead, sunshine.
It just steps up and says, welcome back to the LPL. Leon in his first series back in the LPL, stepping into Aki's shoes. It has been very entertaining. Very entertaining. Has it been clean? No. Leon does have his flash for the next fight. He doesn't have himself something like a Seekers, which could be a bit of a problem for NIP. I think as soon as he gets something like a Seekers, he'll be a lot more happy to kind of walk up and potentially put on his ego into Zhonya's and try and survive a little bit longer in that front line.
Rookie has been found. No, Haichao grabs away that Gromp. I just want to point out quickly, Camington Bear spotted this in chat. Lien has done a bit of a top esports as he is now 3, 6, and 9 in the scoreboard. Maybe he'll be able to channel his inner 3, 6, 9 and pop off in these team fights. Now, I mean, the Requiems are getting scary. He's on those 3 items, but not going for the death cap. Typically, the Karthus 3rd item death cap is just the stronger damage build.
Yeah, and he's also gone for the Dark Harvest instead of the First Strike. First Strike can help you power through to later items. We saw a fall off of Dark Harvest because it's just harder to
It got buffed on this patch, though, right? It did
get buffed. I think it's now better at scaling, I want to say. I think it's better in kind of like the more stacks you get, the more damage it does. And it does better into the late game. So
I think you can... If I remember, I mean, I'm reaching into my memory here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was also that you can stack it more often, so that it's better for laning.
So if you get it procs, but it doesn't kill, it's still on a low cooldown. Rookie might have to blow his flash here. Haichao going towards the knockup, doesn't hit him. Here comes Meteor.
Rookie trying to count it out. Haichao doing some big damage. Meteor is also doing some big damage. Rookie just can't escape. True Shot Barrage comes in and, you know, a fair effort to Rookie, but what can you do when they're chasing you down like that?
I think you have to flash the first Flame Breath if you're going to have any thoughts of going towards that. Shanji teleports too, doesn't make it to the play in time, so NIP losing in the split picks. LGD consistently winning in that now. Xiaoya, he might even go for an ult towards that one. You can see that doubly landing. That's why they were going towards that Spectator. Xiaoya, not necessarily been making the hero plays, and that is now a 4th? 5th?
3 in a row.
3 dragons in a row, but a 4th, 5th neutral objectives with the Barons put in there too. NIP really struggling to get themselves into the right areas of the map for their big team fights to come to bear. They are winning the grouped up fights, but they're not getting to them cleanly now.
The crazy thing as well is it feels like it's all off the back of this Shyvana-Yone combo. It's not a combo I expected to be talking about coming in today, but my goodness, these set pieces are beautiful. And like it, you know, Shyvana makes Zeri looks slow, which is saying something in that previous play. That's another Baron. That is, I think, 5 neutrals in a row at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Meteor, absolutely king of the Baron. Unfortunately, that does also mean that that is the 3rd Baron now for LGD, and they still haven't broken it in it. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement.
So LGD, they've not won the big team fights themselves. They're not getting those decisive victories which end the game. They're getting those ones which get them, you know, an inch forward, a meter forward, but it's not ending the game. We are getting to the point now where everyone's getting closer towards that full build. We're very close to that on both carries for Rookie and Photic. I think for Rookie, as soon as he gets himself towards Will Dominate's Regards, he could potentially kill Meteor while he tries to run at him at that point, unless he gets hit by one of those massive flame breaths. Meteor getting himself towards the last item too. This Shyvana is doing a hell of a lot of work. Liam going towards a pen item as well. Not got that death cap, which of course can be really big in terms of that burst, but still needs something to cut through. Bits of Birdle and Meteor's resist from Shyvana's passive, and then some of the items coming through as well. I still think NIP can win the grouped up fights. It's just so much harder to look for them.
Yeah,
it's just really hard for them to get on the board there.
I think the tough thing is that none of the fights have really been grouped up because the amount of mobility.
Oh,
that's the solar flare onto Lien. He's forced to flash into the base. Jin Zhao might have overstepped, but flashes to safety himself. Zhuo showing his mastery of the tree. Twisted advance to safety once again for the second time this game as Rookie gets caught by the fate sealed, but Nychao immediately just dips back out. LGD, though, using this Baron to break a bottom inhib tower. Birdol and Xiaoya not afraid to step up, but looks like they will back away in the end. They can't overcommit, they can't overstay because the game is still on a knife's edge here. NIP, with a fight win, could find their way straight back in.
Yeah, all it's going to take is one pick now. All it takes is one big pick, and LGD could potentially blow up the entire base. They don't get themselves the inhib, they get themselves the inhib turret. Big damage check happened there too. Photic tried to do a load of damage into Birdle. He just doesn't have the damage. Yeah, well, I think if he gets himself towards that last item, whether it's a Cyrilda's or even the Lord Dominus Regards for himself, that could be a big change in that damage differential. Birdle, he is very tanky right now, and it means that NIP can't necessarily get themselves free picks with their 80 carries.
Feels like it's all LGD right now. Xiaoya walks away. Barrier used there, but another tower broken. Inhib down now on the bottom side as Birdol just using the Baron to pressure. Rookie trying to chase onto this Cassante, but the flash all out comes through onto Rookie. The solar flare trying to deny his exit, but he does survive. Lien does not. Rookie doesn't, and Zhuo falls as well. Photic sent underneath his Nexus towers. He just doesn't have the damage. This combo from LGD has been absolutely disgusting.
Both these teams have not won a series. Both these teams have only won 2 games in the Rumble stage. Shanji's going to try and save the game, but he won't be able to do anything close to it. And LGD will bring us back to even here, 1-1 in this deciding series to see who will win at least one series in the Rumble stage.
This just had to go to 3 games, didn't it? It just had to. LGD looking like the better team here in the second game of the series. 3 Barons it took them, but it turns out 3 is the charm. And, well, NIP, I think just wondering what on earth went wrong in the draft there. The Shyvana, turns out, needs to be banned. Like, that was a problem for them.
It was banned in the first game draft as well, so we bring ourselves to 1-1. That does mean we're probably going to miss a bit of the second series, folks, as well, because we got to stick with this one. It's too fun, and we'll hop up to that one as soon as we can. But yeah, folks, this is the last day of LPL not being broadcast on the English official channel, so we thought we'd make a special occasion of it as well. And I'm very thankful to have Joe joining me for this one. The games have been entertaining as hell. I have been enjoying them. The first game was probably more of a banger than the second. I'm sad that NIP couldn't get themselves those group fights, but hey, I'm glad that we do have 2 teams which are again really fighting tooth and nail for what should be actually a very important victory for them. Even if it won't get the, they're not going into playoffs straight through the Ascension group. Getting that win and getting themselves at least a series win is very important. Now both these teams have no series won. They're both at 1-1. They both have 3 games total won throughout the entirety of this Rumble stage so far. They are literally neck and neck. They are as even as possible right now.
Honestly, I don't even know who wins this one
at
this point.
Me neither.
I don't know who takes game 3. I do feel like this was a bit of a draft issue for NIP. That late game felt pretty impossible to play. However, whether or not that happens again, I mean, NIP probably move over to the blue side again, and perhaps that can change their fortune here, but I don't know. These games are crazy. The first game was absolutely mental. The second game, the fact that it took 3 Barons